Extra value meals are back. That means 10 tender, juicy McNuggets and medium fries and a drink are just $8. Only at McDonald's.
For limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Hawaii, Alaska, and California, and for delivery.
'Tis the season for all your holiday favorites, like a Very Jonas Christmas movie and Home Alone on Disney+.
Did I burn down the joint? I don't think so.
Then Hulu has National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
We're all in for a very big Christmas treat.
All of these and more streaming this holiday season. And right now, save big with our special Black Friday offer. Bundle Disney Plus and Hulu for just $4.99 a month for 1 year. Savings compared to current regular monthly price. Ends 12/1. Offer for ad-supported Disney Plus Hulu bundle only. Then $12.99 a month or then current regular monthly price. 18 plus terms apply.
Hey, it's Dr. Wendy, the pediatrician next door. With Thanksgiving here, I thought it would be the perfect time to bring back one of my favorite food-focused episodes. This one is all about turning healthy ingredients into foods your kids will actually eat and maybe even love. My guest is Kelly Senyei. She's a chef and creator of Just a Taste. She shares her favorite secret ingredient that adds protein to everything from pancakes to pasta. We also talk about smart swaps in your kitchen, like the best oils to use, and how to make easy but impressive meals that keep kids and grown-ups happy. So while you're chopping, baking, or sneaking in a few bites before dinner, enjoy this Encore presentation. The holiday season is upon us, and it's got me thinking about food more than anything else. There's something very comforting about returning to the same traditions every holiday season, making familiar dishes. You know what I mean. Have you ever skipped making a side dish one year just because it's so much work and you didn't think anyone would notice, and then everyone asked for it? I'm Dr. Wendy Hunter, and I'm the pediatrician next door. I'm that doctor friend you call for practical advice about your kids' health. I mix the science of medicine with the reality of parenting. Kelly Senyei, founder of the Just a Taste food blog, author of the Secret Ingredient Cookbook, and mother of 4 young kids, is back. I promised in the last episode that she would share her dream ingredient and lots more ideas for making easy but impressive meals that your kids might eat. Okay, Kelly, what's the food our kitchens have been missing?
Cottage cheese has become a food group in our house.
Oh my gosh, I never would have seen that coming. Okay.
And it sounds very odd. And you think to yourself, grandmas eat cottage cheese. What 6-year-old is eating cottage cheese?
Mm-hmm.
But I will say this, there are 2 ways that I've learned to serve it, and my kids go absolutely crazy for it. So one of the first secret ingredient recipes I ever developed was for a protein smoothie, and the secret ingredient was actually cottage cheese. So instead of using yogurt, you throw a giant scoop, and I mean like a heaping cup of 2% or full fat cottage cheese into the blender. That resulting smoothie, Dr. Hunter, is the creamiest smoothie you will ever have in your life. Cottage cheese tastes like nothing, so it goes completely undetected. And most importantly, there's like something, I don't even know how many grams of protein there is per cup of cottage cheese. It depends on the milk fat percentage. But your kids are getting so much calcium, which I am such a big fan of for these growing bodies, strengthening the bones, getting them, set for life. So I love putting it into smoothies. And then this is the semi-controversial way I use cottage cheese, which I'm curious what your take is on this.
Try me.
So we've talked about bolognese.
Yeah.
Because I try and eat low carb at night. So at night, instead of doing pasta with my bolognese, I get a big bowl of bolognese and I put a giant scoop of cottage cheese on top.
I don't know if I can make that leap.
But
cottage cheese is not expensive either.
It's not expensive. It's literally the dream ingredient for parents. It's loaded with calcium. It's loaded with protein. It can be low in fat. It goes undetected when cooked with properly. And there's 2 other ways I add it to my scrambled eggs.
That's genius. Because it lowers the cholesterol, probably.
I'm not a doctor. I'm going to defer to you.
I am a doctor.
But the best way to add it to scrambled eggs is you actually want to whip it first. So you'd want to put it in a food processor or blender so it gets creamy and it doesn't have the curds anymore. Then you can literally add whipped cottage cheese to any recipe, sweet or savory, and it will go undetected. And all it does is amp up the protein and amp up the consistency. I put it in my quick breads. I put it in smoothies. I put it in pancakes, scrambled eggs, bolognese. I do a vodka pasta, cottage cheese pancakes. Everything under the sun can have whipped cottage cheese.
What does it do to the pancakes?
Now it just lightens the batter. So honestly, you can do it in place of the dairy or non-dairy milk. And actually, we should do a recipe for that. Maybe we should do like a recipe together. We can call it like Dr. Hunter's cottage cheese pancakes.
Love it. Yes, I'm on board. As long as it has maple syrup on it.
Duh, of course, and fresh fruit.
I put ground flaxseed in all my pancakes, and I usually add walnuts too.
Yep. I love it. And my kids are really into chia seeds now too. You have to be a little careful with chia seeds because you need the liquid with them and you don't want to have upset tummies. But my kids love the idea that they look like little bugs when they sprinkle them on top of anything.
Oh my God. Okay, that would make it fun for kids. Yeah, chia seeds you need to soak in order to digest them well. And flaxseed you need to grind.
Absolutely.
But you can buy it ground. But it has tons of omega fatty acids in it that are really healthy.
And fiber too. Sometimes kids deal with like constipation, which I know you've seen 1,000,001 times. So it's like if you can naturally.
Yeah. Okay, cottage cheese is a brilliant idea. I definitely would not have seen that. And then you use a lot of pork and beef in your household too.
And I think pork is often overlooked too. I do a pork tenderloin, but instead of roasting it whole, I cube it up. My kids love fried rice. They will like eat anything if it's put into fried rice. So we'll add pineapple. We'll do it with like diced pork or chicken. That's how I got my kids to start eating shrimp, is I actually diced it up really small and added it to fried rice. And it was just another small piece within the bowl. And they just kind of ate it. And I was like, oh, you guys are having shrimp now, and not calling attention to it, which is another big thing when it comes to feeding kids.
I know most kids will eat fried rice, even kids who don't like their food like hidden or touching each other. Yeah. Sometimes they'll take that and you can put an egg in there.
Absolutely. Veggies, it's a complete
sprouts.
Meal. Totally. I love fried rice for that reason. You get a starch, a veggie, a protein. I mean, you name it, you can throw it in there.
You could definitely put some sardines in there.
Oh my, you went the sardines. Is this episode sponsored by a sardine company that I am unaware of?
Let's talk about fats. Which oils do you like to cook with? And like, what's the difference between having one like on a salad versus an oil you cook with?
Okay, so I cook truly 7 days a week because of my job. And so about a year ago, I made the switch almost exclusively to avocado oil, olive oil, and butter. Those are the 3 fats that are used. I do have a big tub of vegetable oil, but I only will use that if we're deep frying and testing something for the site because I'm just not a fan of vegetable oil anymore. And avocado oil will do like 95% of what vegetable oil can do. Avocado oil sounds very foreign to a lot of people if you've never cooked with it. But the reason I made the switch to avocado oil, and I also love extra virgin olive oil, but you have to just understand one super easy principle when it comes to cooking with oils, is it's called smoke point. So how hot can you get an oil before it literally starts to smoke? And so a lot of times people have problems when they're cooking because they're trying to saute in olive oil. Olive oil has a much lower smoke point than avocado oil, which has a 500-degree Fahrenheit smoke point.
Right. So you can get avocado oil really hot compared to olive oil, which won't do well.
And it won't burn and it won't get gross. So I do chicken cutlets on the regular, like I'm Hungarian, so we call it Wiener Schnitzel. My kids call it little guys. It's a whole thing. But I make chicken cutlets once a week at our house. And I do them cooked in a pan in a mix of avocado oil. It's basically like a shallow fry. So it's a decent amount of oil, but because it's avocado oil, I know I can get it up to 500 degrees and it's not going to burn. They get golden brown and crispy. And it's a vegetable-based oil, but it's just so much better for you than the canolas and everything else out there. No. And I would encourage people to, like, when you're at the grocery store, just look for it. Buy a small bottle and test it out. That was what kind of got me on the train as I started seeing it a lot on restaurant menus, drizzled with avocado oil, whatever, spritzed with avocado oil. And that's the other great thing too, is it comes in those espresso cans. So I use it now when I'm baking chicken or veggies, even in place of olive oil again, because it has a much higher smoke point.
Yeah, you can spray it in the air fryer.
Absolutely. Oh, yes. Thank you. Yeah, it goes right into the air fryer, no residue. It works beautifully. So big fan of avocado oil.
When I think about the holidays, what moment do I look forward to the most? It's the slow mornings with my kids when we get to stay in our pajamas, play games, bake cookies, or just hang out together without a schedule. That's the feeling I want to keep all year long, and that's exactly what Cozy Earth delivers. Their bamboo pajamas look great on and sleep degrees cooler than cotton. They're cozy without overheating. And if you need a little reassurance, they offer a 100-night sleep trial so you can snuggle in risk-free. But trust me, once you do, you won't want to give them back. And guess what? Black Friday has come early at Cozy Earth. Right now, you can stack my code Dr. Wendy, that's DRWENDY, on top of their site-wide sale, giving you up to 40% off in savings. These deals won't last, so start your holiday shopping today. And if you get a post-purchase survey, be sure to mention you heard about Cozy Earth right here. Wrap the ones you love in luxury with Cozy Earth. Are you drinking enough water every day? I used to think just drinking more water was enough, but after a long day at work or being outside with my kids, I kind of felt drained. That's when I started using Cure hydration packs, and the difference was obvious. Cure is science-backed and uses the same proven ratio of electrolytes as an IV drip, so it really works. It's plant-based, has no added sugar, and only 25 calories, which means I don't have to worry about giving my body junk. I'm a fan of berry pomegranate flavor, but my kids love the watermelon flavor, and I don't blame them. It's light and refreshing. For my listeners, especially busy parents and student athletes, you're going to love how Cure makes it easy to stay hydrated without the syrupy sweetness of sports drinks. Staying hydrated isn't just about water. You do also need electrolytes. That's why I love Cure. It's clean, tastes great, and actually works. For Pediatrician Next Door listeners, you can get 20% off your first order at curehydration.com/Dr. Wendy with code Dr. Wendy. That's DRWENDY. And if you get a post-purchase survey, make sure to let them know you heard about Cure right here. It really helps support the show. Don't just drink more water, upgrade it with Cure.
When you walk into a Burlington, you're walking into amazing prices and great gifts. That's main character energy. Because at Burlington, the holiday savings aren't the only things turning heads. Discover quality finds and perfect presents for everyone on your list, even those who are hard to shop for. Toys and jewelry to new beauty brands and styles, these gifts go seamlessly from our stores to under your tree. Seriously, with these savings, why shop anywhere else?
Burlington deals, brands, wow.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Listening to this podcast? Smart move. Being financially savvy? Smart move. Another smart move? Having State Farm help you create a competitive price when you choose to bundle home and auto. Bundling, just another way to save with the personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Before I get back to Kelly, I'll put my doctor nose in here and give my 2 cents. I also avoid canola oil and use mostly olive and avocado oil, and I did go down the rabbit hole on them. This is a simplification, of course, but the issue with canola and vegetable oil is that they are highly refined, which reduces the oil's nutritional value. Oils like olive and avocado, they contain a lot of other nutrients besides just the healthy fat. I could, and I maybe should do an episode about the health benefits of olive oil, so send me a message if you actually do want to hear about that. You can buy canola oils that are cold pressed, and those are a better alternative to the highly processed vegetable oils. I have cold pressed canola oil in my kitchen. It has some concerns about increasing inflammation and oxidative stress, which again, that could be its own episode about canola oil. While I have my doctor hat on, the thing about cottage cheese is that adding it to eggs does not significantly decrease the cholesterol content of the dish, but it does improve the nutritional profile by adding more protein while keeping the saturated fat pretty low. So here was my next challenge to Kelly. If you bring your kids to my clinic, you know I talk about healthful foods a lot. Here's what I asked Kelly to weigh in on. I have 3 foods that I'm always trying to get people to eat more of. And so I want to talk about these 3 in any order you want. Fish, and then greens like spinach and kale, and then fermented foods. They're so good for your gut health. So what can you tell me about these foods?
Okay, the first thing with fish is I will say this, that is a tough sell for kids But it all comes down to what the gateway fishes you use to introduce them to it. I'm not saying
fish.
Yeah, gateway fish. I'm not saying take them out to sushi and throw some salmon sashimi. I don't eat salmon sashimi. It is too fishy for me. But my 8-year-old eats it by the pound. But my 6-year-old likes tuna sashimi. So it's like, it all comes down to preference. But I will say this. It's all about a modeled behavior. So if I'm there turning my nose up at a dish, there's no chance in hell my kids are going to be eating it. So modeling that behavior first and foremost. And then I will say this, I will use any trick possible to get my kids to eat fish. And this is where my props are going to come in.
Okay, great.
I know people can't see it, but we're going to explain it. So when it comes to getting kids to eat really tricky foods like fish, sometimes it's not what they're eating, but how they're eating it. How are they getting that food from their plate or their bowl into their mouths? And this is where my props come in. I wish I could send you a picture of my kids' utensil drawer, Dr. Hunter. This is just phenomenal. Small collection.
This was not on my radar at all, how you get your food to your mouth.
But it's such a simple thing, right? We're so used to just sticking a fork in their noon. The thing with kids is you have to distract and divert attention and make them be in control of how they're getting the food from the plate to their mouths. So I'm holding up right now these adorable little tiny tongs that have silicone hands, right?
Yeah.
Silicone
they look like hands.
So instead of using your fork to get your salmon or halibut or cod from the plate to your mouth and dip it in the ranch or the ketchup, whatever it is, you're going to give your kid these little tiny tongs. Or how about some trainer chopsticks, which are so fun, kid-friendly chopsticks that I'm holding here. Again, it puts them in control. I have a little fireman spoon. I've got an ice cream looking spoon. If you give them a tool that interests them and intrigues them and puts the power quite literally in their hands to eat, then you're going to give them a way better shot of possibly wanting to try out these tongs and lifting that fish from their plate to their mouth. So sometimes it takes getting really creative and not just being like, eat your salmon or eat your tuna or whatever it is. It's like, hey guys, I bought these new tongs. You want to try it to eat this fish off your plate? Look, mommy just did it.
Literally eat anything you put on their plate.
Anything.
Right? Yeah.
And the other thing is too, I don't draw attention to introducing new foods to kids. So you talked about greens, kale, lettuces, whatever it may be. I don't make it a big point. I put a small portion on their plate, sometimes in 2 different temperatures or 2 different shapes. Like kale, you could easily serve as chips, right? That's a great one to do in the air fryer with ranch seasoning, that powdered ranch seasoning. You can make your own if you're really obsessed with like not using packaged ingredients, but I just buy the packaged ranch, sprinkle it with the avocado oil again on the kale, throw them into the air fryer. They taste, I'm not going to say exactly like Cool Ranch Doritos, but they have that.
They don't taste anything like Cool Ranch Doritos.
Okay, you called me out on it. That was a total lie.
But okay, but your child won't know if they've never had Cool Ranch
No,
Doritos.
Absolutely not, which mine have because Cool Ranch Doritos are a food group at my house.
Right.
You know,
Fair.
Sorry, they're just the guilty food pleasure.
No, you're right. We have to find the balance between eating fun things and things that are good for our bodies. I will put links to all of those tools in the show notes because those are fantastic and I might get those hand tongs for myself.
Right. And then just adding an action item to it. So you talked too about fermented foods. That can be a tricky one because of the smell and the texture. So, you know, a lot of times, I don't know what sort of like fermented foods you're aiming to get into people's
sauerkraut.
Body. Exactly. That would be one where I think my kids would be like, there's no chance on the planet. I don't care what tongs or chopsticks or I don't care if you give me a pitchfork. I'm not putting that in my mouth.
That's funny because it is one of my kids' favorite meals when I make mashed potatoes, sauerkraut, and sausage. Right? I don't know what I did right.
No, but thank you. That's the exact point you just made. You modeled a behavior early on. And I will say this, early intervention and early exposure is the easiest way to get kids to have expansive palates. That's not helpful to people that have 8-year-olds that are struggling to get them to eat something other than tendies and mac and cheese. But if you're listening and you've got a baby that's about to start solids, my gosh, get them on salmon pouches, which smell like I can't even go there.
Oh,
but my kids
was not aware that existed.
Oh yeah. There's
salmon in a pouch?
Yep. Salmon in a pouch. And it's an organic brand. And I'll remember Serenity. It's so good. They have bone broth now. They have the kids' foods now in the pouches is beyond. That's why I never made my own. But I will say the early intervention of getting kids to try new foods and modeling that's how I got my kids onto sushi. And Indian food is one of our favorites. Chicken tikka masala, a creamy sauce, a rice.
That's a pretty easy one to start start with.
That's an easy one because it's
of
got
flavors
sweetness.
in there too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can eat it with rice, which is way less threatening than the chicken tikka masala.
Exactly. It's a friendly, familiar food paired with something slightly less familiar. So it makes it, less scary to them.
Do you have any dishes that were like really big surprises that your family liked?
I will say, just on the fish front, so I do this coconut rice. And if you watch on Instagram stories at all, you see I make it 2 to 3 times a week. And it's very simple. It's a can of coconut milk, water, basmati rice, a pinch of salt, and a pinch of sugar. My kids will eat anything that I put on that rice.
Yes.
It's so creamy. So this is how I got them into salmon. When Mia was very little, my daughter, my youngest, I always had her on my hip. I was never a baby wearer. I just always carry my babies everywhere.
Yeah. How's that shoulder feeling now in your hip? You guys all
horrendous. I know.
Okay, yeah.
I'm in PT at this point.
Okay, thank you. I just gotta be
realistic.
Here.
Yeah. Oh no, I had to stop lifting. How much time do you have? Seriously. But so I'd always have Mia on my hip, and so my boys started calling it one-hand salmon because I would make it with one hand. I would make the entire recipe with one hand. I could never put her down. And so that's been a really big surprise hit. And it's just like a teriyaki-esque marinade. And then it just goes into the oven. And while it's in the oven, the coconut rice is cooking. And so that's one of those things that's been a big hit. We talked a little bit about fried rice, adding, different creative ingredients to that. That's how I got my kids onto shrimp. The tikka masala, of course, has been huge. I recently have started doing a lot more Hungarian cooking. I found my late grandmother's recipe
like anything
binder.
with paprika, right?
Yes, paprika. There's paprika in everything.
I literally bake everything in a packet now because I can't even do dishes. So I'll make foil packets, but I do the coconut rice.
Yes.
Love that recipe.
So good.
And then I put on top of it a piece of fish, or you could do chicken, and then some vegetable, like whatever I have in the freezer. And I wrap it all up and I put it in the oven, and then everyone gets their own packet and I'm done.
I love that. Minimal cleanup.
But you need 2 hands to roll the foil.
So. Luckily, I'm past the point where I have to carry her, or I'm still carrying her, which is probably why I have shoulder issues.
And I spray oil in there too. I spray some avocado oil.
Avocado oil. But that's a complete meal, right? And everybody has to do what works for them. And I will say this, the most important thing is I can very easily sit here and preach and tell everybody, well, why doesn't your kid eat salmon? Or why doesn't your kid do this? But at the end of the day, you have to be so realistic about what kids eat and know that there are parents that genuinely struggle with getting their kids to eat a more expanded menu of foods.
So you put chocolate chips in stuff.
Totally. I mean, again, moderation. If my kids are going to eat Greek yogurt, banana muffins that are loaded with potassium, great fats, and calcium, I'm going to throw a few semi-sweet chocolate chips in there. And guess what? They're going to be totally fine. That, if that's what gets them to eat all of these delicious fats and great nutrients and they love them and it's a homemade snack, then my gosh, I'm not getting a slap on the wrist for throwing some chocolate chips in there. Everybody has to do what works for them. And that sounds very cliche, but at the end of the day, everybody's doing the best that they can. I always joke, my tombstone's going to say she did the best she could.
And Kelly Senyei's best is pretty good. Thank you for sharing great tips to make easy but impressive food at home. Be on the lookout for our collaboration. It'll be something like Dr. Hunter's surprise fun time pancakes. You can follow her on Instagram at Just a Taste. For more from the Pediatrician Next Door, find me on the web at pediatriciannextdoorpodcast.com. If you've got a question about the weird things kids do, send an email to hello@pediatriciannextdoorpodcast.com for a chance to hear your voice on the show. I'm Dr. Wendy Hunter, and I'm the Pediatrician Next Door. This show is produced by Red Rock Music. Make sure to subscribe and leave a review wherever it is you're listening. I'll be back next time with more.
Rinse takes your laundry and hand-delivers it to your door, expertly cleaned and folded. So you could take the time once spent folding and sorting and waiting to finally pursue a whole new version of you. Like Tea Time You. Or this Tea Time You. Or even this Tea Time You.
So did you hear about Dave?
Or even Tea Time You.
So update on Dave.
It's up to you. We'll take the laundry. Rinse. It's time to be great.
This next one's for all you CarMax shoppers who just want to buy a car your way.
Want to check some cars out in person? Wanna look some more from your house? Okay.
Want to pretend you know about engines?
Nah, I'll just chat with CarMax online instead.
Wanna get pre-qualified from your couch? Woo! Wanna get that car
ASAP!
You wanna do it your way.
Want to drive? CarMax.
The world moves fast. Your workday, even faster. Pitching products, drafting reports, analyzing data. Microsoft 365 Copilot is your AI assistant for work. Built into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other Microsoft 365 apps you use. Helping you quickly write, analyze, create, and summarize. So you can cut through clutter and clear a path to your best work. Learn more at Microsoft.com/M365 Copilot.